Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time once again for a postcard of the week. Late last year, I showed you a postcard with artwork by C.A. Seward, one of the early prairie printmakers from here in Wichita. And Mr. Seward had been commissioned by a Kansas Development Association to create that poster postcard. They thought it was so good as a poster, they made it into a postcard. And so that was for all 1912. That particular card had a rubber stamp marking across the top that said Votes for Women. So the ladies had purchased probably some of that stack of postcards and had rubber stamped them Votes for Women and had used them in mailings. I have collected suffrage or Votes for Women postcards for a long time, and this is the other card that I have found over the years from Kansas. You'll see that the card is also a poster type postcard, and it was published or printed and everything by the Topeka Good Government Club 1912. I've looked into this club. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it was a bunch of strident ladies in the Topeka area, or let's say eastern Kansas, and they got together and promoted and worked toward women's suffrage in Kansas. In 1912, they had an election, and Kansas granted the ladies suffrage, which meant they were able to vote. But it was not until 1919 when the 19th Amendment was ratified, and then they were able to vote in the 1920 presidential election. That would have been with Harding and Coolidge and Cox and Roosevelt. This is the same Roosevelt that was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but at that time in 1920 he was running for vice president. They lost that year, but he came back 12 years later and defeated Al Smith and went on to the White House. In any case, this postcard that we're looking at today, in the lower left corner, just above that red square, it has WF, and I don't know who that is. I assume it's probably the artist who did the work. But someday somebody will be working with records and so forth, and they'll come back and they'll discover who WF was. It's not a big deal, but when we look at postcards and images and artwork and so forth, it's nice to attribute something to a particular artist. And this one is certainly a great card. It's red, white, and blue. It's patriotic, shows equal suffrage, equal voting, men and women together. It's just neat. And it says at the bottom, for a better government of the people, by the people, and for the people. There they are voting, putting their ballots into the ballot box. So this is the only other Kansas card that I have in my collection. I'm not saying I have them all by any means, but it'll be fun sometime to get together with other postcard collectors and see what they have for other states. I have one from Oklahoma, and I believe I have one for Colorado. It was a big deal, you can imagine, granting ladies equal suffrage and giving them the right to vote. Well, that's our story for today, and I thank you for coming and look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.